because people like to always talk about the Sukianas and the Sexy Reds, but they keep on forgetting that Salt Pepper was some freak bitches.
No.
Yes.
You know what? Out of all those names that you were naming in that last interview, one of the names that kind of bothered a lot of people, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You said Busta Rhymes. You know, we heard
Busta Rhymes, a hot sissy.
You think Biggie was gay, dog?
I think Biggie was just like Mace. I think Biggie overlooked.
Hell no. Busta Rhymes gangster, man. Then you start hearing these stories.
Sorry. I forgot to tell you that New York is the home of the gangster sissies.
Oh, yeah, you already know what time it is, man. It's your boy Mafi back up in this jump for the Mafi channel. And I got a very, very, very special guest up in here. He lighting up the internet right now, man. The one and only Dawgface, man. What's going on, sir?
Swear with you, bro. How you feel?
I'm pretty good, man. I'm glad you stopped by and came to give me your story. Come holler at me, man. What you being so hot right now?
It's all my honor, bro. I know who you are. I've done my research. I do my due diligence if I pull up anywhere. So it's an honor to actually be here. And I'm happy to have the opportunity to be able to sit down and talk to your audience.
That's dope, man. I think you're such a large personality. I was telling you before the cameras came on, I kind of can see like the trajectory of like media personalities in the game with me, you know, working for Vlad for so long.
Right.
You definitely got it. You understand the concept of media. You understand algorithm. You understand everything like that. And I think you're going to be one of the big names to watch out for in 2026. I just want to tell you that for sure.
Oh, I appreciate that. I've been working hard for it, so it is what it is. It ain't come out of nowhere. I've been planning this shit. I'm like Nostradamus. You hear me?
You seem pretty strategic, man.
Yeah, kind of. A little bit.
Know what you're doing?
A little bit.
I'm going to go straight to it, man, because, shit, man, I'm going to go straight to it, dog. A lot of people in New York ain't fucking with you right now, man. I ain't going to say they ain't fucking with you. I'm just saying some of them feel a certain way about some comments you made about some of the legends out there, man.
Right.
You was just on the show the other day, and you was talking about, you said New York introduced homosexuality into hip-hop.
It did.
That's a strong statement, man.
Right. I didn't say they introduced homosexuality to the world. I didn't say they introduced homosexuality to America. I said they introduced homosexuality to the world of hip-hop. This goes back 30, 40 years at least that we know about it. We can pinpoint it. We can point a finger to some of the most legendary figures in hip-hop who are New Yorkers, born and raised. They were engaged in some very, very nefarious activities and some inappropriate activities in terms of homosexual. And I don't even want to say homosexual. I want to take a step further. So I wasn't even talking about, see, the misunderstanding is I wasn't even, I may have said one thing, but my overall point wasn't about homosexuality.
Right.
Because you could be homosexual and not be a child molester.
Okay.
I don't want to put forth, or I don't want it to appear as if I am putting forth a concept, or I don't want it to appear as if I'm saying that homosexuals are child molesters and rapists, because that's not what I'm saying. I should have said that New York introduced child abuse and child molestation to hip hop. That's what I should have said. When you look at Russell Simmons with Kimora Lee, she 15, right? All this shit about he waited till she was legal to do it. No, he didn't. Russell Simmons was fucking Kimora Lee Simmons from 15, 16 years old, and everybody knew about it.
Why you think a lot of people turned the other cheek to that? Like a lot of people knew
power,
that.
Money. The same reason why people turned the other cheek to Africa Bambaataa, because of the power and influence and what he meant to the overall hip hop culture. So when I say that New York introduced homosexuality to the world of hip hop, I didn't want to. So I should have said New York introduced raping and abusing innocent young lives to the world of hip hop, because some of the most prominent hip hop figures that ever existed, some of the biggest names in the world of hip hop from the origins of hip hop, are fucking child molesters and rapists.
You know what's crazy?
And sexual predators.
A lot of us knew that though.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't say it like how you said it.
So watch this. New Yorkers always like to defend New York. They always like to brag about it being the cradle or the birthplace of hip hop. Okay, well, let's look at some of the most iconic figures in hip hop. From Africa Bambaataa, the Zulu Nation, right?
Right. Founder
of the Zulu Nation. It is reported, and I'm not going to say allegedly, it is reported by very notable, powerful, and reputable people that he is responsible for raping and molesting hundreds, if not thousands, of young black and brown young men over the course of the last 30, 40 years, right? It took people like a Hassan Campbell to come out. Hassan Campbell is no notable figure in hip hop. He's made his mark as a YouTuber and as a podcaster, right? The things he said, and it's been verified to me by people who are in a position of power, but didn't want their names to be dropped, right? He's been raping and molesting young black boys for 40 years. Where is the Fat Joes? Where's the so-called black activists? Where's the KRS Ones?
Why do you think nothing's been done about African about it? Why is it still out here?
Mafi, where's the Jay-Z's? Where's the Nas's on this Bambaataa issue? Motherfuckers will make a public statement about all things hip-hop, but won't talk about that. Where's the Jay-Z's? Where's the Nas?
I think people are concerned about their bag. They're like, you know what? I'm going to just stay away
what
from
bag
that,
is Africa Bambaataa stopping? Right? Where's the awareness, right? So you mean tell me you got a guy who's a staple, who's a founding father. If you created a Mount Rushmore of iconic hip-hop figures from the city of New York, Africa Bambaataa and the Zulu Nation would have to be on that Mount Rushmore somewhere. Where's the Jay-Z's? Where's the Nas's? Where are the people who are supposed to be the biggest names in hip-hop who are New Yorkers? Where are they when it comes to weighing in on what the fuck Bambaataa did to all those young black boys?
What should they be doing? Should they be like trying to like investigate it or dive deep into it?
They don't have to investigate it because guess what? They're from New York. They know people who have been victims of Africa Bambaataa and members of the Zulu Nation. They know artists who turned into superstars who were actually victims of Africa Bambaataa and the whole Zulu Nation. So it was a massive cover-up. And they still trying to cover it up right now because, listen, Bambaataa is still free. He's still running around. He's still doing what he does. So the whole thing is, New Yorkers, if y'all want to call out Atlanta, y'all want to call out L.A., y'all want to call out Miami, you want to call anybody, let's start with your own backyard first. Because when I said that New York is the birth, New York introduced homosexuality into hip-hop, I didn't really mean homosexuality in the base form. I should have said New York introduced, Puffy is a product of New York. Puffy's
he was just doing what he knew.
Yeah, Puffy's not a product of L.A., Hollywood. He ain't no Will Smith ass nigga. The perversion that he chose to be a part of, that perversion started with the Clive Davises. It started with the Andre Harrells. He was groomed to be the monster that he turns out to be.
Because nobody really talks about the Clive Davis and Diddy's relationship. Do you think that they was already just two homosexual men?
I think that he was groomed to be the savage. He was absolutely groomed to be that. And I'm not saying that he didn't have it in him. Right, I'm not saying that it wasn't part of his psychological makeup, but I'm saying that the people who were already firmly affixed in positions of power, they were into that. You know what I'm saying? Right. So whether he was drugged, kicking and screaming into that perverse shit, or whether he just openly accepted it, either way we don't know. Probably they'll never know. But whatever the case may be, the framework for him being a sexual predator and a monster ass nigga, that framework was set by the environment that he was operating in, primarily through Russell Simmons, fucking child molester. Clive Davis, fucking child molester. All them Lucian Grange type niggas, all the niggas is the most ridiculous, horrible niggas on the face of this planet.
And you know what? Out of all those names that you were naming in that last interview, one of the names that kind of bothered a lot of people, dog, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. You said Busta Rhymes. You know, we heard
Busta Rhymes a hot sissy. He's a burly, muscle-bound ass, weightlifting ass sissy, steroid junkie ass nigga.
That's so shocking to us, man, because we thinking like Busta Rhymes, leaders of the new school, like hell no. Busta Rhymes gangster, man. Then you start hearing these stories.
Sorry. I forgot to tell you that New York is the home of the gangster sissies. When you think about all the terminology about anti-gay shit, when you think about all the anti-gay slurs and rhetoric, most of those anti-gay slurs and rhetorics and all the shit that we say about gay people, don't forget, hip-hop from its birth was an extremely homophobic on the surface platform. It's all about machismo. It's all about black manhood and black womanhood. It was never really accepted. And even to this day, it's not really, now that hip-hop has been commercialized, you see the signs and symbols of alternative lifestyles creeping into all, with Young Thug wearing a dress. That would have, even amongst people who were engaged in all that homosexual shit, they still wouldn't went for that shit 30 years ago. Right. Because you are exposing something about what we doing that we don't want the general public to know about. So Young Thug couldn't have wore a dress with Run DMC. He could never have stood next to them wearing a dress. But as the times have progressed, shit that we traditionally don't expect to see in black culture, and especially in the world of hip hop. That shit is becoming more and more acceptable now. So when it comes to New York, bro, when you look at the Africa Bambalas, Mafi, where's the Fat Joes? So we've heard stories about, whispers about Africa Bambaataa.
Yeah.
Where's Nas speaking on that? Where's the Jay-Z?
You think they
speaking
just
on
protecting their own?
Of course.
You know how New York, they're going to ride for each other now.
Listen, New York didn't lose the throne, or they didn't lose the control of hip-hop because they gave it away. It was snatched from them by the West Coast, and then the South, from Houston to Atlanta, where it landed at, which is the seat of hip-hop, where we are right now. Right? New York didn't give anything up. It was taken from them because they were not proper caretakers of the art form, and they were not proper caretakers of just hip hop as a whole, the culture as a whole. They were not, so that's why they lost it. Anytime you get put in a position of power and you abuse that control or that influence or that privilege of being the caretakers or the guardian of hip hop, you're going to lose it, which is what Atlanta is going through right now. Atlanta has been the guardians of hip hop for the last 15 years at least.
Yeah. At least, I mean, minimum. Yeah.
Minimum.
I'm thinking back like TLC days. Like, I mean, they've been running.
Well, let's go back to Andre Rise and the Freaknik shit. That's 10, 15 years ago.
Right, yeah.
New York has been, Atlanta has been on the top. It ain't New York no more. You ain't got to go to New York for shit.
Well, look, man, they ain't like one of them names, man.
Which ones?
Queen Latifah. Let me tell you why real quick. I'm gonna tell you why. Queen Latifah is kind of like Luther Vandross, dog.
Yes.
In the sense of
Luther was fag too.
But we ain't, it was just understood. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I wasn't dissing her. I'm just simply saying that when it comes to, because people like to always talk about the Sukihanas and the Sexy Reds, but they keep on forgetting that Salt Pepper was some freak bitches.
No.
Yes, Pepper and Tretch making them freak movies.
Okay,
you forget about that?
Yeah.
Pepper was a hoe. I take your man. Oh, I take your man. See, it was the way they said it. But Salt and Pepper was just as raunchy as Sexy Red. They were just as shoot and all that. The dick and the nigga naked nigga. They was just, but it's just the way they said it. Nowadays, these rappers are more direct with their communication, right? Yeah. But Salt and Pepper was some freak hoes. The first freak hoes in hip hop was Roxanne Shante. She was a hoe. No. The real Roxanne. Light skin one.
Yeah, okay.
She fucking UTFO. She fucking everybody. She got on through fucking. It was beefs and war started in New York about the real Roxanne, the light skinned one.
So the Sexy Red type of artist isn't new.
No, it's not new. Yeah. But they try to act like the South is responsible for the degradation in hip hop. Yeah, like Atlanta is the home of. The reason why hip hop is turned kind of like fruity is because of Atlanta's influence. No, you niggas in New York with the Russell Simmons, the Andre Harrells. And now that we know what Diddy been up to, we know that in Biggie Smalls' first videos, he had transgenders in there, right? In the hot tub.
Man? What you think about that though? Do you
think that
was? You think that was a real transgender
Purposeful.
for real?
Yes, it was. Cause
we know. I'm gonna show the person right now on this part right here. But
yeah, it was real. He knew it. He was engaged. Listen, that's how long. The thing that should be shocking is not that a transgender was there, because being gay is nothing new, right? But what it does is it really opens your eyes to, oh, you niggas really been on this tip for a long time.
I'm about to ask you something, man. Man, it's gonna be hard to ask this, man, but I gotta ask this, dog. You think Biggie was gay, dog?
I think Biggie was just like Mace. I think Biggie overlooked. I don't think he actually engaged in any sexual. I don't think Biggie was gay. I'll just put it like that. Okay. Fuck all the flowery speech, right? I don't think he was gay, but I think he understood what position he was in with Puffy having the influence that he had. I think Puffy was gay.
You think Puffy was on that back then? He hadn't met Clive Davis yet, though.
Listen,
so what does that say about Diddy? So was he was just already like that before he
Who said Clive? He hadn't met Clive Davis yet? Don't forget, Diddy executive produced Mary J. Blige's first projects. Clive Davis had Mariah Carey. And before
did he go to Clive after he was released from Uptown?
Who?
Yeah, didn't he go to Clive after?
But he knew it. He was in that circle.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He knew it. He knew he was in
Andre
circle. They were in that circle. They were in that circle. You had the Rick Rubens, and the Biggie was. I mean, I call him Diddy Monster. Diddy, Daddy Love was in them circles from the very beginning. So when you rubbing shoulders and you see, listen, there's a lot of motherfuckers who think they know hip hop. They don't really know hip hop because they're not in those circles.
Right.
They think they know because they're looking at a lot of times, bro. I'm old here. I'm an OG. I'm a Source magazine, Vibe magazine.
Yeah.
Before there was a double XL.
Yeah.
I'm a Source magazine. I'm a rap report, a hip hop report. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Teen Beat
I remember all
magazine
that.
reading that
Right on.
with the fold out
Yeah.
poster type
Easy.
nigga. I'm that type of shit, right? So the music business, I always say this, right? In the music business, the entertainment business as a whole, it is more treacherous and cutthroat than the streets, because the thirst and the hunger to want to be famous, not rich, but to want to be famous. That shit is a drug. That shit is an opioid. That shit is fentanyl, right? Motherfuckers will sacrifice whatever in order to be known, in order to be famous.
Me and my dog was just talking about this today, man. Especially with the females and stuff. Dating females now is so different now because everybody want to be on TikTok and want to argue with you online and stuff. They want to be famous. They care about the views and the likes and the clicks. It's like a really big deal.
That really
so it's funny you brought that up.
That really exemplifies just the overall deterioration of the psychological of the mind state of black people as a whole with the whole social media shit. You know what I'm saying? That's a whole different. That's shit beyond hip hop. That shit is just about the social dynamic and the psychological dynamic of what's happening between black men and black women in this country. There's a divide. Black men and black women, they don't like each other anymore. Historically, the things that binded us together as a single solitary unit, we don't even see. There's no connective tissue between us anymore. So that's why you have black men who will abandon their responsibility and obligation to be the caretakers and the protectors and the providers of the black community. Black men have abandoned that shit. And that's why black women have such little regard or respect for black men. And when you have lack of responsibility or lack of accountability, and you have that coupled with people who have been the victims, black women have been the victims of black men's failures.
Why you think the black men are abandoning though? Is it because we just sick of the black women? I'd rather just not deal with it.
No, bro, that shit go back to slavery, bro. That shit go back to slavery. There's no one thing that we can point to, but we can point to just the overall impact of it and the result of it. The result of black men being like we are today, right? That shit was designed. We are just fulfilling a prophecy. We're fulfilling a game plan that was initiated going back to slavery in the Jim Crow South. We are who the people who once owned us as physical property designed or planned for us to be. We are what they planned for us to be.
Let me go back to New York one more time, man.
They mad at
because
me.
you said something. Did you bring up LL?
He's a hot sissy.
Now you know, I guess that was.
No, and listen, LL is my first hip hop hero.
So that hurt you. That hurt
not
you.
My
then.
first.
Did it hurt?
My first hip hop superhero. I've had several hip hop superheroes. We didn't have any options back then, and so when I was introduced to, I'm a day one hip hopper. I'm a Gen 1 hip hop fanatic, right? So my first hip hop heroes in hip hop was KRS-One, and then it went from KRS-One to Rakim, right? Rakim is the God MC to me. Rakim is like Jay-Z and Nas combined into one. He's the greatest MC of all times, right? When it comes to just to straight up,
just lyricism, just bars. And,
when it comes to so Rakim wasn't just about lyricism. He was about imagery too. Because when we called him the God MC, when we called him the God MC, when you put on them Dapper Dan, Gucci, and Louis Vuitton, that shit was
with the cut and all that.
That shit was that was dope, boy. Rakim, he ain't talk about no dope. But Rakim was the first dope man MC. You think about it. All the drug traffickers, bro. King of New York wasn't just in New York. The whole process. King of New York, when nigga had leather jackets and Dobbs on, that shit had split the country.
New York did have that fashion though.
Yeah, they had that fashion shit. Because before Run DMC, the hip hop niggas had Jerry curls and leather pants and boots and shit, right?
Right.
Run DMC really is they brought the streets to hip hop. And then LL came right behind them. And so LL as a singular unit, as a fire-breathing dragon, Because LL was facing he was facing turmoil from the beginning. They didn't like him. They was jealous of him from the very beginning. So LL was one of the first battle rappers. And when we see motherfuckers going at each other, man, LL went at Kool Moe Dee. He went at Ice-T. LL was under a lot of motherfucking attack when he first came out because they was jealous and hating on the nigga.
Gangster though, man. We've never seen LL.
He's never been gangster
in like a bisexual.
He's never been. You ain't never seen Fat Joe in a bisexual act. You ain't never caught Busta Rhymes in the bisexual act.
I mean, not act, but like in that light. Like we just always saw these guys as
man.
Like,
listen, we didn't think none of it. Listen, who knew that the world of hip hop had so much homosexuality in it? We didn't know. Listen, Puffy and what has happened with Puffy has really opened our eyes to just how diabolical, how treacherous, and how pervasive. Who knew?
You think Tupac been knew Diddy was like that?
He said it, didn't he?
He said, Puffy, you a punk and you would see me with gloves.
Listen,
you think he meant like punk? Like
yes, he meant he meant that. Wow. He meant that. Pac been telling us that nigga, these niggas some fags, they some sissies, they punks. He been telling us because he's in the position of knowing, right? Or even if he hadn't seen it firsthand, he had heard the rumors because he was in the position to have heard the rumors. He know what he dealing with, right? Just like Mace. I tip my hat to Mace because don't forget, Mace was with Diddy. He dropped one album. I think he dropped a couple of mixtapes and one album. And then Mace, nobody knew and understood why Mace walked away from Diddy. We now know why, but Mace, listen, Mace.
Why do you think?
Mace walked away from Diddy because Mace wasn't gay, and he wasn't going to allow himself to be turned out. That's why when he walked away, he just walked away.
So Mace knew.
He quit, and then he became a pastor because of all the treacherous, ridiculous shit he had saw. That changed him as a man. It changed him, right? Don't forget when Mace and Cameron have conversations. Cameron said, "Well, we went to the Brownstone in Harlem, and it's a dildo." I
remember that story.
Right?
Shout out to Cameron.
Right. So what the fuck you think was going on with that? That wasn't for no bitch. Right? Diddy Monster was greasing that motherfucker up and thrashing niggas with that bitch. Right? So Cameron is a hero. But listen, Cameron couldn't come out and say what it was or what the reason why he walked away. Because one, it was an unpopular thing to speak negatively about homosexuality back then, right? Right? With Trump, we can say fag, we can say sissy, because he say it, right? You know what I'm saying? Even though he didn't be involved in that shit too. But he made it more acceptable to go back to because back then in hip hop, they said fag, they said sissy, they said Jew, they said that shit openly in hip hop. But now, you can't say it now.
It's very sensitive.
It's a very sensitive matter.
I'm gonna bring up another thing. I'm just getting out some of the shocking things that you.
Busta Rhymes is a sissy though. He a flaming hot sissy.
Let's spin the block on Busta Rhymes.
Yeah, he is a sissy.
Why would you think Busta Rhymes would be a sissy?
Why would he be, or why do I say he is?
Why do you say he is?
Because I'm Dawgface, bro. And I'm one of the hottest names in the country right now. So in the world of YouTube, people think that, let me just say this first. People think that YouTube and YouTubers are on the same level as TikTokers and Instagrammers and Facebookers. No, the difference is that YouTube is more of an expansive place. YouTube is a genuine source or a genuine marketplace for ideas and information, right? You can type into the search engine on YouTube, how to change the engine on the 72 Chevy. What's going to pop up? Videos on how to change an engine in the 72 Chevy.
Right to YouTube, yeah.
You can type in how to build a garage, right? On YouTube, it's gonna pop up, right? You can type in heart surgery on YouTube, and there's gonna be videos pop up with actual, non-edited, right? Heart surgery procedures. You can type in pancreas removal surgery on YouTube, and it's gonna show you that. You can type in.
You ain't gotta go to school no more. You just learn right there.
I
call it YouTube University.
Yeah, it's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Right. YouTube University, the YouTube streets, the school, the place is the streets. The school is YouTube University, right? So you can Google, you can YouTube all this kind of shit, and it'll all come up, right? When you put the same thing into the search engine of Instagram, you can't put how to change the engine on a Monte Carlo or 86 Impala onto the search engine. It's not a genuine marketplace of ideas when it comes to social media. Social media is just all about, look at me, I'm going to expose what I do and expose who I am and tell you who I am through pictures and through words, right? And YouTube is more of an expansive place where you can get whatever you're looking for. You can find it on YouTube just like you can with Google.
It's right there under your fingertips.
Yeah, when you Google anything, right? Let's say if you Google how to change the engine on a 1972 Monte Carlo, right? that Google is going to take you to what? YouTube.
Directly
It's going to take
YouTube.
you directly to YouTube. So YouTube is that place. So most people, they confuse and they try to equate or try to compare or parallel the impact and influence of social media to the impact and influence of YouTube. It's not the same. Once you become a YouTube darling, they can take Charleston White, prime example. He has lost how many Instagram pages?
A lot.
A lot of them.
Like a lot, yeah.
Right? He's lost YouTube channels. But he's solidified his position as a voice in the YouTube streets. So no matter what he loses on social media, no matter what he loses, he's always going to be able to regain footing because he's a YouTube sensation. Being a YouTube sensation is bigger than being a social media sensation across the board. Simple as that. So, but to answer your question, the why Busta Rhymes is a horrible motherfucker, why don't we know this? What did we know about Diddy? Right? Diddy took game. 6'3", big Pyru, big blood nigga from LA and was trying to groom him.
Damn.
Right? He was trying to influence it. Listen.
He was trying that big nigga?
He was, listen, homosexuals are the most courageous motherfuckers in the world. Think about it. You got to be courageous to be a man who, first of all, listen, brother. We live in the term gangster sissy, right? You got to be a brave nigga to take your hands and put it on another nigga dick and shove it down your throat. That ain't no regular shit. That take courage. I ain't got that kind of courage. That ain't no regular shit. That's a gangster. You got to be a gangster.
You waking up thigh to thigh, y'all. Hairy thigh to hairy thigh.
Bro, listen, for a man take his hand, grab another nigga dick, squeeze it and shove it down his throat. That's some gangster shit. They ain't know you a different kind of nigga. So you telling me a nigga who do that won't kill you? Bro, a man who would take another man's dick and shove it down his throat or put it up his ass, that nigga will kill you. You ain't never heard Diddy losing no battle. The first battle you ever heard Diddy losing was this court case. Don't forget, when he collided with Suge Knight in Atlanta and Miami, who came up with the short end of the stick on that? Suge, every time. Diddy is a fucking gangster, and he's a monster. He a vampire, bro. So when it comes to why haven't we heard, we haven't heard about this shit because niggas in New York have been covering it up. They've been. It's not just the rappers, but the media. The media, New York media is just as culpable. Listen, you don't get a Diddy without the media outlets, the magazines, the periodicals, and then going into the radio personalities. You don't think they know what Diddy was doing?
1 second. We good. 5, 2, 3, go.
You don't think Funk Master Flex, Angie Martinez, Ebro, DJ Envy, DJ Self, you don't think that the legendary New York media personalities, you don't think they knew? We knew Wendy Williams been telling us for 25 years that nigga's a monster. They got her up out of there. They man.
Well, you answer your own question right there. Then that's why they ain't saying nothing. You saw what happened to Wendy.
Yeah.
He shut that shit down. He got up out of there.
Listen, homosexuals in this country who are involved with media and entertainment, bro, they are there. They control this shit. So that's why they say. That's why you see Michael Rubens behind making Meek Mill's bunny hot like a bitch and filming it. Right? He didn't just make him do it. It was just between them two.
Right.
He filmed it and then he put it out there to the world. Why do you think he put that imagery out? The same reason why the United States government broadcast the most negative aspects of what it means to be black to the whole world. So before the Cubans and the Hondurans and before the Chinese and the Vietnamese and the Arabs, before they ever step foot in America, they already have a fixed idea of who black people are and what we do and how we don't take advantage of the
so-called. They want to portray us like
that. Yeah. So Michael Rubin, he filmed that, right? He filmed this nigga Meek Mill supposed to be a gangster Philly nigga, bunny hopping like a little bitch, right? You feel what I'm saying? He filmed it. And then Michael Rubin took a picture with who else? Lil Baby.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, hey Mafi, what would you do if we out at a social function and I walk up behind you right now, right? And we can be cool. I walk up behind you, my dick pressed up against your butt out.
It's just an automatic.
Right.
Whoa.
It's a,
like, damn,
and I put my arm around you and I got my dick to your butt backside.
Yeah, wow. Like, hold on, bro. What's going
Listen,
on?
and then Michael Rubin put the picture out there. See, niggas don't understand. There is a homosexual agenda in the world of entertainment. And that homosexual agenda, when the world of black entertainment was commercialized, when we say it's commercialized, we don't mean that it was just, when we say that anything black has been commercialized, we saying that white people have taken it over and commandeered it, and we know that what's coming next. They gonna put that dick on you. They gonna put that.
They gonna try.
They gonna try to put that dick on you. So Michael Rubin, he got Meek Mill's bunny hop like a little bitch. Then he take Peter Little Baby with all kind of motherfuckers there. He hugged up with your arm around your neck, bitch. You don't unhand me, bitch.
But you don't think that means that Michael Rubin fuck with Lil Baby and fuck with Lil?
I think even more, whether he did or didn't, right? I don't know.
Right.
Whether he did or didn't is not important. What's important is the imagery that you project to the general public about black men, about the most gangster amongst us being seen in compromising positions. That is where it is less important if Meek Mills is gay. We don't give a fuck.
Right.
We live in a world full of that shit, right? But it's the imagery that you project to little young black boys and girls about people who y'all think are y'all the most notable amongst y'all, right? Are really are really operating at the beck and call or at the behest of white people.
I'm gonna bring up one more that you touched on, then we'll move forward. Man, this is a strong term, man. I don't know if you came up with this term or whatever, man. You said TD Jakes.
It's a power bottom. I didn't come up with that. That came out in the dairy. That came out in the dairy.
That's strong right there.
That came out. That is the term that the people who were involved with Diddy's situation, his trial, when the witnesses in the Diddy situation were interviewed, the witnesses, the people who were there at the Diddy parties getting all greased up, right? The glizzy goblin ass niggas. They're the ones who introduced the term power bottom to the urban lexicon. Based on we didn't know nothing about it before Diddy, the power bottom. We didn't know that Stevie J was a bull and he was pounding, Diddy was using. To this day, Stevie J won't say one bad thing about Diddy. To this day. You know why?
Why do you think you don't hear from Stevie right now?
Because Stevie was there. Stevie was at all the parties. Stevie seen everything.
You think he was on the tapes?
He motherfucking for sure was power driving them niggas. For sure. For shit show. T. Jakes, listen, everybody in Texas, everybody. See, in the white world, homosexuality is no big deal. So what? No thing. But it's still in black culture, it's still a negative connotation attached with just the world of homosexuality as a whole. Black men, for the most part, we still like, no, we ain't that. And we'll fight if you call us that type shit. You know what I'm saying? That's still in the white world, being called gay is not necessarily an insult.
They even play like that.
They play like that. They play gay. You know what I'm saying? In black culture, you know what I'm saying? Even if you are, you know that you don't want to admit it. It's not that we don't have them. We know we do have them. But even amongst people the overwhelming imagery of black men is still one of, even if we are loose cannons, is that we are still heterosexual loose cannons.
Right.
And being called gay in the black community is still considered an insult.
Yeah, because it's just, for years, it just hasn't been seen as just masculine. You know what I'm saying?
It ain't masculine.
It's like...
It's not masculine.
Not natural. I mean...
Yeah, it's not natural.
Not to offend anyone. Just the way...
Hey,
I'm from Memphis, so I'm from the Bible Belt. You know
listen. If we can't have open and frank conversation, I'm going to get up and walk out this motherfucker right now. Right? So, I just did a show with CEO King Munchie from Memphis. I've been going to Memphis since 2012. That's not a lifetime, but it's 2026. I have relationships with the underworld in Memphis long before, now when it comes to Detroit, long before Doug ever signed with Yo Gotti, right? I've been going to Memphis and fucking with the streets of Memphis. 100 Round Entertainment. I've been fucking with them boys from West Memphis too, across that goddamn bridge, right? I know the streets, south, north. We can go to Germantown,
Okay,
Atoka, Millington, anything touching that bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The niggas who I fuck with got rich, and they ain't stay in Memphis. You know, they moved to the Atokas. They moved to the Millingtons and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? They moved across that motherfucking bridge up in Bayou and shit like that. So I know the drummer boy. I know who taught drummer boy. I know about who taught him how to be a producer. I've been in Memphis a long time. So Memphis is a city, it is what it is. But these niggas who operate in the world of hip hop, who knew, Mafi? Who knew that there was this much homosexuality and this much sexual perversion in hip hop? We didn't know that until the general public didn't know.
It seems like it's coming out more and more now. Even Playboy Cardi one time, that nigga bent over, had a thong on, dog, and it was cool. He still got fans and stuff. He would have never did no shit like that, dog. Straight up, right?
You know, Easy would have did no shit like that, right? But homosexuality been going on way back when the days of Easy. I mean, it just wasn't. So listen, we have more information now because we have more cell phones. We have more access to stars than we had 20, 30 years ago. 20, 30 years ago, all you had was a XXL source, Vibe. Right now, we can see things happening in real time because that fucking cell phone. So now, these things have been happening. The general public just didn't have access to it because we had print ads. We didn't have like in the moment tracking of a nigga's behavior. We had to wait till MTV Cribs come out to see what these niggas lived at, what kind of cars they. Yeah, but now we have so much open-ended access to people who are stars to where we know from day one you ain't like that nigga. They created your whole image in the studio or in the boardroom.
You said something also online, man. I like to paraphrase. This me paraphrase. You ain't say it like this, but I'm saying like this. Basically, you saying right now, Big Meech really ain't on shit right now. Since he got out of prison, he ain't really doing his full potential. What you think he should be doing?
So Big Meech came home to a world that Big Meech came home. Big Meech left at strip clubs for King, right? When they wasn't sticking a cell phone in your face for each and everything you did, right? Big Meech, I'm gonna tell you the truth. Big Meech controls, without even getting into details, Big Meech is one of the most powerful black men in the country right now. You a fool if you think that 50 Cent is really winning that war. You a fool if he's just not gonna argue with you, right? You a fool if you think Big Meech is like Black America's Robin Hood, even though he didn't rob from the rich and get to the poor. But Big Meech is an iconic figure, bro.
Right.
Big Meech has more money now than he had before he got locked up.
You think so?
Big Meech has more influence, right, in the streets right now than he had prior to him getting locked up. You a fool if you think that man ain't been sitting back strategizing. But he can't argue with me. I can't beat you arguing. I can't beat you tongue wrestling, nigga. But Big Meech right now is one of the most powerful black men in the streets of America. He's one of the most shrewdest businessmen, right? He's not as... So he's being judged by the Billboard, the World Is Ours, and all that.
Right.
No, because black people, we're going to always be judged by the mistakes we make. We can do 100 things right, but that one mistake, we're going to always be judged by that. Big Meech is one of the most powerful people, and 50 Cent going to feel it. When Big Meech come off that tether, right, and you got that motherfucking Pharaoh Overwatch, he going to feel it. And all the people who offended Big Meech in a real way, they're going to pay for it. Mark my words.
You feel like he just sitting back plotting and just strategizing?
I just told you, my good brother, that Big Meech right now got more money right now than he had when he got knocked down. He got more influence. And Big Meech put a bunch of motherfuckers in position to win. And those people he incubated, right? He laid eggs, no pun intended,
right,
all over the country. Those eggs have hatched and they were able to mature over the 20-year period with him being locked up. So we talk shit about Big Meech and we criticize and we talk about Lil Meech being a little musty motherfucker, right?
This is my next question too.
Oh, he a musty motherfucker. He not his daddy.
Do you think he should have had something better prepared for his dad upon his arrival, or what do you think about the situation?
So I judge Lil Meech according to Lil Meech is not from Detroit. Lil Meech grew up going to private school, so he's not a street motherfucker. So he is exactly what he is. He is a young boy who grew up in the suburbs, who grew up going to private school, and so he don't know nothing about the streets. So we judge Lil Meech according to what we think he should be, according to who his father was.
Right.
Lil Meech is not BMF. You know what I'm saying? How many parents have had? How many ministers and how many high-ranking officials and CEOs have had kids? And those kids don't turn out to be like them. That happens every day. How many powerful pastors and preachers since we in Atlanta, and their kids grew up to be dope fiends? And look at T.I. and King. So we talk about Lil Meech. We also talk about we had to talk about King too. King Daddy is a motherfucking legend. T.I. Tip is a legend. Yeah. Street nigga. Don't forget Tip, when the King of the South issue was on the floor, Tip went to Houston and smacked the fuck out of
Floyd?
No.
Oh, Lil Flip.
Lil Flip.
Hell, and Floyd. Shit.
And smacked him. T.I. went
He swung on Floyd.
He swung on him. But that's not an easy proposition
right.
to get them hands for real, right? Swung on him. Slap Flip. All Flip said, no, you ain't the King of the South, nigga. Scarface the King of the South.
I remember that.
And we all agreed with him with that. And T.I., he didn't just say it, but he proved his point, and he became the King of the South first. Simple as that. You know what I'm saying? So it was what it was. So when you compare, we have a lot of examples of great men producing offspring that don't turn out to be as great as they are. King is the perfect example.
Yeah, Michael Jordan kids. I mean, no disrespect to Michael Jordan. I mean, like in the sense of they didn't follow in his footsteps.
They
basketball.
They are.
You know what I'm saying?
Listen,
you thought his sons would have came out bald.
Something. Even if you ain't turned into prodigies, you would have thought they would get into sports management. You would have thought they would get into some form of real business that had something to do with the world of sports or entertainment.
Right.
They didn't do anything but live off their fathers. Dwayne Wade's son.
What's your thoughts on that?
Magic Johnson's son. My thoughts on what?
I mean, as far as these NBA legends and they're having kids.
Because they don't have time. Listen, them NBA legends are having babies by no good hoes. This is the result of you being rich and famous, and then you having kids by them white girls or by them sack chasing ass black bitches. These niggas is choosing the worst bitches in the world to have kids with. And these bitches are more concerned with trying to be Atlanta housewives and basketball wives than they are actually being real.
Scottie Pippen's wife was taking down through there, man. I'm talking about, man. At times I was like, man, poor Scottie. I feel bad for Scottie. Like,
no, don't feel sorry for that nigga because he had choices to make. How you gonna feel sorry for a nigga who got 6 NBA championships and made over $100 million of his? How you gonna feel sorry for him? Nigga, we struggling. No. You know, listen, Scottie Pippen, Michael Jordan, Dwayne Wade, you know who that is right now? That is the jump shoot motherfucker. The best jump shooter in the history of the NBA. What's his name? Little light-skinned nigga. Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's wife is an open exemplification of what these niggas have been gravitating towards in the NBA and in the NFL for 40, 50 years. Steph Curry's wife, he is all these other bitches, but she's just vocal with it. Steph Curry's wife, she's an example. She's just vocal with it. All these NBA niggas for the most part get bitches just like Steph Curry's wife.
In the sense of what? What do you mean?
Don't give a fuck. Don't take advantage of shit. More focused on, bitch, you worth $100 million with your husband. Why you giving a fuck about being playing in the background? And why don't you do something, bitch? While he on the court, why don't you create non-profit? Why don't you go to college? Why don't you go get a PhD or something? Why don't you become a doctor or something? You have nannies. Why don't you do something with your life? I'm tired of not being... I play in the background. I'm tired of not being on the forefront. That is an example. Yeah. Listen, she didn't just become that way. He chose this goofy bitch. She is what she is because that's what she was when he got her. These niggas in the NBA, these niggas in the world of entertainment, period.
You think the money just magnified who she was the whole time?
Of course. He took a nuttin' ass bitch and made a nuttin' ass bitch a multi-millionaire, right? And she's not even cognizant or wise enough to understand that, bitch, you embarrassing him. I would have left that bitch on my mama and your mama. I would have been got rid of that hoe. I would pay, bitch. He go 30, 40 million.
What's the first time you was like, help, something ain't right? I wouldn't rock.
Her opening her mouth. Her opening her mouth and complaining about what she wasn't able to do or what she wasn't able to accomplish or how she wasn't looked at or how she had to operate in the shadows of that man. Bitch, we only know you because of him. And so instead of taking your access and taking that money, right, and taking your influence and turning it into something positive to support your husband, every step you take, every step you make, Steve, right? Right? Every step you take, every move you make, you know they watching you. So how do you choose to represent your husband? And she's doing it openly. And it doesn't appear as if he's saying anything because she hasn't stopped. I will divorce.
You think she ungrateful?
Do it. Is the sky blue, motherfucker? Right? Is the sky blue ungrateful is an understatement. You don't get no, what are you talking about? I'm going to scratch my head that bitch is a whore. She's a horrible whore. He supposed to let that, your mama said leave that bitch when you found her? Leave out. Listen, it's too late now because he got kids by her, but it's never too late. I will divorce that bitch and get that bitch 30, 40 million and go on hit on, bitch. Go on hit on. You are an embarrassment to me, and I will fight for custody for my kids. She don't give a fuck. Right now, if he was to say to that bitch, I'm going to give you $50 million, I'm going to raise my kids the rest of the way, go on hit on. She wants to be in the limelight so much, I think she would go for it. Because she got the money.
Really?
She has the money now. She has the access to money now. And look at what the fuck she's doing. Bitch, pour into your kids, bitch.
You saying she can like be creating some type of businesses or something, create some type of situation for herself.
Everything that she says that she wants or wish she could have been, what's stopping her from doing it? He's not stopping her from being great. We know that he ain't stopping that bitch from talking and saying negative shit about him in their relationship. So we know he would push and prod her. He would push her to greatness. But your mind is not focused on greatness. Your mind is focused on what you don't have and what you don't have access to. Because, bitch, you think that he telling her you can't spend $1 million on this? You can't become a producer. You can't, if you want to you want to produce a show, you want to get into, we'll go get the best people. I'll put you next to Tyler Perry. I'll put you next to Oprah and Gail.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do. You think he's telling her no?
Ties to. I mean,
yes.
Let's do this. Let's do this real quick, man. We probably got some new viewers that might maybe watching. Like, you know what? I see him a lot on social media now, but I don't really know his backstory. You are from Pontiac, Michigan, but in '87 you actually moved to Detroit to sell dope.
86.
86. Okay.
Yeah, I moved to Detroit to sell dope. I didn't move down there because my mama moved down there. I moved to Detroit to sell dope, which is why I moved down there.
Okay, but let's say before you got there, how'd you even get involved in the game just fucking with coke back then in the 80s?
It was heroin. When I say dope, I don't call cocaine dope.
Okay, gotcha.
Dope is doogie,
okay.
Heroin, mixed jive. I met motherfuckers. So in Michigan, Detroit is ground zero for niggas, right? So Detroit has an impact and influence on all things, especially on the east side of Michigan, right? And Lower Peninsula. Michigan has two parts: Upper Peninsula, Lower Peninsula. In the Lower Peninsula, in the southeastern quadrant of the Lower Peninsula, Detroit radiates everything. Detroit is like the sun.
Okay.
On the west side of Michigan, even though Detroit has influence, the west side of Michigan is more influenced by Chicago because of the proximity to it. So the Grand Rapids, your Battle Creeks, your Kalamazoo's, your Benton Harbor, Michigan, that shit is more heavily influenced by Chicago than it is Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Because Detroit,
how far is Chicago from Detroit?
4 hours.
Okay.
4 hours. And so the west of Michigan, that's going towards that way. So the most extreme city you can go to going southwest would be like Benton Harbor, where you see black people at, right? Like it's like the most extreme southwest Michigan, southwest city, where you have black people at would be Benton Harbor, Michigan. Benton Harbor, Michigan is 3 hours from Detroit, but it's 45 minutes from Chicago. You get me?
Gotcha.
So you understand they have more of a Chicago swag, on the western part of Michigan. So yeah, I moved to Detroit in March of 1986. I was 15. It was people who I met from Detroit were up in Pontiac selling dope, moving the bag. So that's how I first met them. You know what I'm saying? So I met a crew of guys who was up in Pontiac moving and shaking. You know what I'm saying? I fell in line with what they had going on. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had, my mom was on drugs. I ain't have a daddy. You know what I'm saying? So I felt I was basically homeless. So I did what I had to do to get some money.
If you don't mind me asking, what was your mom's drug of choice
Crack.
at the time? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, crack.
Um,
She's clean now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, she's clean now. She's been clean for about 20 years now.
That's dope. That's dope. What was it about Detroit that made you be like, you know what? Let me go slide to Detroit, man, and try to get some money up here.
It was just the people who I met. You know what I'm saying? And then when I left Pontiac, I was already the #1 robber, stick up nigga down there. I've been robbing niggas since I was 12. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like it was a new start for me. You know what I'm saying? It sounds crazy, but it was genuinely a new start for me because I was already getting locked up. They was already calling the police on me. I was already sticking motherfuckers up. I was sticking up drug dealers. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I was doing. So I was already
you was a
on
whole
that.
young nigga, man.
I was already on that type of tag. Nigga, I had to eat. I had to. Mom was on drugs. I had no daddy. I had family members, but you know what I'm saying? I'm the kind of motherfucker where I wouldn't go around my family members because they had something negative to say about my mama.
Right.
Even though she was on drugs, that's still my mama.
Right. Oh, yeah, 100%.
Tupac.
Yeah.
That's still my mama, my nigga. I still strike your ass down with vicious fury to talk about my motherfucking mama. You feel what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So even though she was on drugs, it was like, dear mama. Black, when you from the hood, bro, if you from the hood, and we have family members that fall off and fall victim to drugs and other things that are negative, bro. But we still love them nonetheless. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I went to Detroit to sell dope because it was an opportunity to get some money. That's why I went. You know what I'm saying? So when I went to Detroit, the people who I was dealing with, they were West Siders, but they were operating on the east side of Detroit, the Van Dyke Harper area. So they operated, and that's legendary. You know what I'm saying? In the city of Detroit back then, because everybody who could think about the white boy Rick was still moving
legendary
around.
As far as like where to go get money at? Or?
Yeah, legendary drug figures that are worldwide.
Okay.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Detroit, OT, like moving OT, going OT, in terms of supply and demand. I ain't gonna get into it, but Detroit, the term D-boy, that term came from Detroit. Detroit mass-produced drug traffickers, drug dealers.
You was around during the White Boy Rick era?
Yeah, I got out in '86. White Boy Rick, Maserati Rick, Demetrius Holloway, Best Friends, YBI, MacTown 2020, Pony Down, all the most legendary motherfuckers. This is back then when Meech, this is '86 now. BMF, contrary to popular belief, BMF, they were not legendary drug dealers in Detroit. They didn't become legendary until they left Detroit. They were not the biggest drug dealers in Detroit or in Michigan when they left. When Meech and them took it on the road, they took it on the road. That's the beginning of what we call it's not the beginning, but motherfuckers from Detroit been exporting. Detroit is a hub of drug importation to this country. And niggas in Detroit, you ain't gonna make no money by selling dope in the city. You make money by taking your drugs to places where the supply and demand is higher. You know what I'm saying? So the niggas from Detroit been hitting the road. So when Meech hit the road, BMF became what the world knows them to be on the road. He wasn't like that before he left Detroit and hit Atlanta, hit St. Louis, hit LA, you know what I'm saying, hit Memphis, hit Alabama, hit Miami, hit New York.
All right, so you in Detroit, you getting money, you doing your thing. I'm pretty sure you doing your shit. I got
out there in March of '86. I'm a Cancer. I'm a July baby.
I'm a Cancer too.
By July of '87, we up. We selling Ross Suzuki in. My squad I was with, they call ourselves Out Cold Incorporated. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it was OCI, and even though we were my teammates, is what we referred to each other as, they were West Side niggas, but they was operating on the East Side. Because the OG of the crew was an East Side nigga. He was at Chambers. You know what I'm saying? And I came up around all the most legendary, from Boo Curry, the Curry Boys, like I said, the Best Friends, MacTown 2020.
Y'all had Detroit, the Chambers Brothers? Y'all had the Chambers Brothers? Or was that?
That's where the Chambers come from. Detroit.
Oh, okay.
East Side of Detroit. That's where it came from. You know what I'm saying? The Chambers boys, them boys, they from Detroit. That's where they come from. You know what I'm saying? They came from down south, Arkansas, but they migrated up to Detroit. So BJ Chambers, Larry, all them boys are from Detroit. Yeah, so the whole premise and concept of the movie New Jack City, that whole premise came from the Chambers brothers. The Carter, The Carter was on the east side of Detroit, the apartment building. That whole movie, he took it to New York because New York was a bigger thing. So he made it a New York situation. But that whole movie, the concept of it, that shit was the east side of Detroit.
Man, that's amazing, man. So while you get money, something ended up happening, man. Somehow you end up doing like 17 years in prison, man.
Yeah, and something happened. I was on the road to the penitentiary.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I was on the road to the penitentiary.
What was your initial charge?
Armed robbery. I'm an armed robber, baby. I'm Jesse James Part 2. I'm Billy the Kid. You hear me?
And how much time they gave you for that? Like when you go in the courtroom, they're like, all right, look, you're sentenced.
So I had this is how it went. So I originally had a life with no parole, a 32 to 60, a 13 to 20, and I had 4 gun cases that gave me, gun cases run consecutive. You know what I'm saying? So I had like 4 gun cases. I was able to go back to court and get rid of this shit, and I ended up with a 3 to 20. You know what I'm saying? When I went to court, it took me 8 years to go back and get my controlling sentences away.
Okay.
So I had a 3 to 20. So I was already, when I went back and they threw my controlling cases out, and I took a cop, and they gave me, I took a cop to a lesser offense, but I was already in prison 8 years before I went back and gave my time back. Damn. I was already in prison 8 years. So I became eligible to see the parole board 3 years after I went back to court, but I was already in penitentiary. I was already, psychologically, I was already gone. Because when I went to prison, I didn't go no level 1. You know what I'm saying? Because I caught an assault and battery ticket in quarantine. So how it works in the NDOC, if you catch an assault ticket in quarantine, they raise your property level and your assault level up. So I had a very high assault risk and a high property risk. So I couldn't go to a level 1
so
ever.
You went in the maximum?
I went from quarantine to Marquette level 5, right? I went from Marquette level 5 to MR, Michigan Reformatory, Gladiator School. You know what I'm saying? In Gladiator School, this is how Gladiator School operated. You had to have more than 10 years, and you had to be under 26. So just imagine you have a facility full of 1,500 motherfuckers, right? They're under 26 years old, and they have more than 10 years to do. They call that Gladiator School. That's for the young. The riffraff my ass, you're going to get killed in that bitch. You hear me? It's Gladiator School. It was single cells. It wasn't no double. It's level 4. Most level 4s, you have a bunkie. But in Gladiator School, it was bars, like Jackson. You know what I'm saying? Like North, like South Yard Jackson, right? So you have 20 niggas, 26 and under, more than 10 years to do.
Them young niggas was bad as hell, and I can just see it. I know they
Listen,
were.
my nigga. The warden, her name was Pam Winthrow. That was the warden. If we went 30 days without somebody dying, she would bring in, it had a softball field on the yard. It was fenced in. She would bring donkeys in. And niggas would ride donkeys, right? And she would bring strippers in because they used to have a pool back in the day. So there was a furniture factory where niggas get the knives from and stab each other from. The furniture factory, we make the knives. We call them swords. You know what we ain't call them knife. We ain't call them shanks. We call them knives. Because the motherfucker, just imagine a razor sharp piece of steel this long. On one side is blunt. On the other side, that bitch is sharpened by the grinders in the factory. You can slice the people paper with that bitch. That bitch that long.
You know, prison got a bunch of MacGyvers in that motherfucker, man. They can make something out of nothing.
This one nigga know. So if we go 30 days without somebody dying, she would reward the prison with. So on the other side of the fence where the furniture factory was, where the swimming pool used to be a swimming pool there, right? She would bring a flatbed truck and back it up right there, a flatbed semi truck and back it up right there. And on the semi truck, it'd be a DJ and it'd be strippers, white hoes. Damn. Right? So the white hoes be on the other side of the fence, you know what I'm saying, stripping, taking it off, showing their titties, pussy, and ass. That was our reward for motherfuckers not dying in a 30-day period. She would reward us that way, give us ice cream and shit like that. For somebody not getting killed, she'd bring if I'm lying, I'm flying. Any nigga who been old school nigga they know what I'm telling the absolute truth. She'd bring back a semi truck full of it'd be a DJ with some speakers, and it'd be white hoes shaking their ass, and we'd be on the other side of the fence hooping and hollering. Now I was Nation Islam, so Nation Islam we on that pro black shit, so we couldn't go to the fence and look at the white hoes.
Oh, okay, right.
we had to act like we living weights or something, but I'm picking it. Nigga, I'm in penitentiary still, so I'm looking at the white hoes. You hear me?
Describe your first day in prison. But before you tap into that, bro, when were you fighting your case for 8 years before you finally got sentenced?
No,
you
I
said
just,
you was
I,
already
just had,
doing
I
8.
just had I had issues. I had appealable issues. I wasn't fighting it. I didn't fight it until I got there. I got a lawyer barrier with some of the OGs who I knew. I was like, nigga, let me see your case. Because that's how it is. The old heads will look at the nigga case. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you got an appealable issue. You got a 6500 motion. You got blah, blah, blah. You can do this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? They weren't supposed to do this. They weren't supposed to do that. They violated your constitutional rights when they did X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? Oh, it was ineffective assistance of counsel. Your lawyer was, that mean ineffective assistance of counsel mean your lawyer wasn't shit.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, right.
So you got issues, you got this, you got that. Let's go back and get that time back. You can do X, Y, Z. You know what I'm saying? Your point should be X, Y, and Z. You can, this is agreeable issues or appealable issues, right? So, here's when looking at my case. And I was like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't a law. I became a law library champ as time went on when I saw. Because I watched motherfuckers who had 50. I watched niggas whose out dates was next lifetime.
Damn.
I watched niggas whose life dates was in the next. You gotta die and come back and still be in prison. I watched niggas who had that much time get their time back. And either get their time back and go home, get exonerated.
Right.
And I'll watch motherfuckers get their time back where they have something they can do. Something you can do is 20 years or younger. See, in Michigan, a life bit was 20 years. That's what we considered life. You know what I'm saying? You had life and you had natural life. Natural life means you got an L. I mean, you never come home. You're going to die in that bitch. Right. But then you had a life bit. A life bit was 20 years. You can have life, no parole. You can have life.
Right.
Life, no parole means natural life. You're going to die in that bitch. Then you have life again. The other life was 20 years. Parole board start taking a look at you to see if you qualify to get a parole, get released. You feel what I'm saying? So now I got to prison. I was already super smart, despite the fact I was getting all that trouble growing up. You know what I'm saying? So when I got there, I started to read. I was already a reader before I got there. I was already a Muslim before I got to prison.
Okay.
I took my Shahada in 1986. You know what I'm saying? So I was already a Muslim before I got to prison. So, when I got to prison in Michigan, the Muslim organizations ran the prison system. It wasn't the Crips and Bloods. Now you have Bloods and Crips. You know what I'm saying? GDs and Vice Lords kind of like running the show inside the MDOC. But when I was in prison, when I got there, the Muslims, the Nation of Islam, the Moorish Americans, the Melanics. Melanics was a religion created inside the Michigan prison system. The Melanic Islamic Palace of the Rising Sun, referred to as Melanics.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Their prophet was Nat Turner. Right? So just imagine a Muslim organization, a Muslim set whose inspiration was Nat Turner. Right?
I mean,
kill your dumb ass in that bitch. They'll kill your dumb ass in that bitch. You feel what I'm saying? So I came up under that type of situation. So when I got there, and because I had a very high assault risk and high property risk, I couldn't go to a level 1. And then my points, I left quarantine with 23 points. So that made me level 5 off bail. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I went to Marquette. to Gladiator School, Michigan Reformatory. So for Michigan Reformatory, I stayed 4 years in Michigan Reformatory. Then we got into it with the Aryan Brotherhood. You know what I'm saying? We stabbed them, fucked their ass up, hit them in the head with weights. And then we fucked up Chaplain Horton. Was a brother. He was a chaplain, but he was the most whitewashed chaplain you ever. We fucked Chaplain Horton ass up. You know what I'm saying? Then we fucked the prison guards up too, because the prison guards used to aid and assist. Because where this prison is in Ionia, it's all white. So the prison guards are all white.
Everybody pretty much racist?
Fuck yeah. Okay. Kill your dumb ass. You know what I'm saying? Even the Mexican motherfuckers was some white-minded ass racist motherfuckers. One of the most foul COs at Michigan Reformatory, his name is Moncada. Most motherfuckers, you would have to have been in prison in the late 80s, early 90s to know who Moncada was. Moncada was I don't know, he was Latino, but he was worse than any racist white boy CO in that bitch. Moncada would kill your ass. The hole in MR was called the Graves. In the Graves, it was called the Graves because this prison was under federal consent because it was what's the word? It was so you had several prisons in Michigan that were it was operate under the federal consent decree. Jackson, South Yard, and you had Marquette, level 5, and you had MR because they were condemned. They wasn't even supposed to be open. You know what I'm saying? Really? Roaches, rats, nigga, you flush your toilet, your shit coming up in my toilet next door. So we like it took about 7, 8 of us flushing our toilet at one time to create enough water vacuum to flush the shit all the way off the goddamn rock. Listen, you go to sleep, you had to put a towel on top of your toilet because when you woke up in the morning, you look in your toilet, is shit in your toilet because
somebody else shit in your toilet.
Yes.
Oh, nigga, that's crazy.
Yeah, and you had to sleep with your head towards the toilet. You couldn't sleep with your head towards the bars at MR because a nigga walked past your cell and reached between the bars and stabbed your ass in the head.
Yeah, but how can they run a condemned prison?
Because they need the space. Because don't forget, Michigan, outside of California, Michigan had more prisons than any other state. There were 40 prisons. There were 40,000 prisoners in between 40, 42 prisons in Michigan at its height. The prison industrial jail complex and private prison industry, that shit was Michigan. Michigan taught the whole world how to run private prisons, my nigga.
Wow. It's a business.
It's a business for sure.
So, what was your first day like when you first went to prison? Because there's a lot of young niggas don't even know what it's really like, you know what I'm saying? Some think it's cool. They don't know what the whole experience is like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, when I got off I knew I was going to prison. I knew the only thing gonna beat me to prison was the headlights on the bus I was in. That's the only thing gonna beat me to prison. I knew I was going to penitentiary, right? My first day, don't forget, I started getting locked up at 12 years old. I started going to youth home at 12. So I was already accustomed to being locked up. I had already been programmed. From the ages of 12 to 17, I think I was free a year total. Like I would get locked up, do 3 months, come on, I'll be home a week.
Was you rebelling? Why was you so bad?
Nigga, I was robbing.
Damn.
I went, the first time I ever got locked up was April 14th, 1984. I was 12.
I was 5.
I got locked up for robbery. I robbed a white boy. Bitch, I robbed white boy.
It take a special type of person to rob. I'm saying, like, it takes courage, you know what I'm saying? It takes a certain mindset. You can't care about consequence. It's like
all that.
And you was doing that at an early age.
Yeah. You had it, I wanted, I'm taking it. Simple as that. It was the easiest way for me to get what I wanted right then and there. I ain't gonna sell dope take too long. I'm just gonna wait and let you sell dope and take it from you. That's a fact, Jack. I got locked up for armed robbery at 12 years old. I mean, for strong armed robbery. I caught my first armed robbery at 15. I was strong armed robbery, and I was a big young motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So I'll grab your bitch ass up, choke your ass down, take that shit from you. You hear me?
But then they finally sent you to prison, though. And what was that like when they finally
Well, they sent me to prison 10 years later. You know what I'm saying? They had enough of my shit.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? So when I got to, so listen, I was in the training school. So training school is like kid prison. So I was in WJ Maxey's and I went to Green Oaks. So Green Oaks is like, it's like child prison. You locked up like you in prison. So I had already been groomed. I had already been conditioned and hardened to being locked up and being locked in the cell. Damn. Long before I got there, I was already programmed for that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because, I've been in Wayne County Youth Home, Oakland County Youth Home. I had already been locked up. You know what I'm saying? So I already knew you're going to have to get to fighting, nigga. You put your motherfucking dukes up. I already knew I was in the county jail doing push-ups, 100 a set, nigga. We putting bags. We were taking the garbage bags, getting the garbage bags, putting water in them,
yep.
and hitting the back arm on a nigga, on the back arm, and the curl tip. You know what I'm saying? With the sheet and the 2 garbage bags, hitting the curls on the motherfucker. So I already knew what it was, right? So my first day in prison, bro, it was like, it was like the first day of high school because I was already getting accustomed to it.
Wow. If you think about it, that's unfortunate. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, I was. So the whole thing, I already knew I had to be on point. I already knew not to be talking. I already knew to stay away from sissies. I already knew to stay away from niggas who was rat-ass niggas. I already knew to stay away from white boys because in the MDOC in Michigan, white boy automatically meant gay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I knew you don't go to no church. I was a Muslim
you knew
already.
Not to accept the honey bun when they leave it on your bed. Hey, bro, I looked out for you, man. Got some soups on your bed.
So I just told you I was at Marquette and I was at MR, bro.
Got some soups.
Yeah, listen. Niggas used to crack jokes and take a Snicker bar, throw on a nigga bed, right? You play with a nigga like that. Right? And no, nigga, listen, we used to do that. It was a joke. Nigga, we take a box of Little Debbie's and open the box up and throw a few little oatmeal pie on nigga bump. And nigga see that, bro? Nigga who do this whole ass shit, I'm finna stab you niggas. Nigga who playing with me like that.
People that mean that might not know anything about prison life or anything like what.
A nigga throw some zoom wham wham on your bunk, nigga. That meant nigga you take it and eat it. Nigga, you a boy, nigga, that's a sad, nigga. Mm-hmm. So based on the movies, niggas think about like that, like cornbread. You want your cornbread too sweet, right? So in Michigan Department of Corrections, MDOC, right? If a nigga takes some Little Debbie's or a Snicker bar and throw in your bed, that mean nigga they think you a punk, you a sweet thing, nigga.
Oh, you think a nigga sweet?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
yeah, type shit. Nigga, a nigga put something in your bunk, you better stab somebody. A nigga put some a honey bun on your bed,
Couple soups
you better
on
find somebody to stab, nigga. Cause they watching you. They want to see what your reaction gonna be. You ain't said nothing. You went there and ate that shit. Oh, you went there and ate that? All right, nigga. All right, nigga. Nigga, you better, nigga put something on your bunk like that. You better go in there. See, I'm an ignorant. Nigga,
they ain't gonna do it to no real nigga.
No, hell no, nigga. Niggas know who it is and who can.
Not even playing like that.
Nigga, Detroit, the NDOC is ran by Detroit. So everybody know everybody for the most part. You got Flint, Saginaw, Pontiac, Kalamazoo, all kind of shit, Grand Rapids and shit, right? But niggas know what it is. Nigga, if a nigga put something on your bunk, you better listen. I'm a fool. I wish a nigga would have put on my bunk. I went there and ate that bitch. I'm like that. You hear me? I went there. Oh, you put something on my bunk? I'm eating it. I'm gonna eat that shit, nigga. I'm gonna eat whatever you put in my bunk. I'm gonna eat it. And I'm in that bitch packing my Foot Locker up. Cause you had a little black Foot Locker shit, green double bag. I'm packing my shit up. Right? They give you a duff bag and get right out though. We get the Foot Locker and shit, right? I'm like that, nigga. Actually, any nigga tell you, nigga, I got 45 tickets, and all of them for assault, stabbing, fighting, over the course of my bit. You know what I'm saying? No PC, no gay shit. I was in Nation Islam in prison, and if you remember the Nation Islam, you got caught fucking with a sissy in prison, they would kill you.
Damn.
You would die, nigga. If you don't die, it's because you wasn't getting off the yard because we run a thing called point. Running point is it was security. Back then, nigga in the garage on the yard doing karate. Like right now, it ain't like that. But back then, the religions ran the prison. Outside of the prison guards, the religious organizations ran the prison. In the Nation of Islam, when I went to prison, if you get caught fucking with a sissy, they gonna kill you, nigga. Ain't no such thing as a gay Muslim.
Right? Yeah, I've never heard that. That's
ain't no such thing as but niggas do break bag and start we call dipping in the sauce.
Damn.
Fucking with boys, you know, because you a boy, you fucking with the boys, right? That mean when you say you fucking with the boys, that mean you fucking with gay shit. Or you dipping in the sauce. You dipping in the sauce means you fucking with boys, right? So in the Nation of Islam, nigga, they'll kill you, nigga. They'll kill you, you would die, nigga. You would die. And we gonna kill you. We gonna, cause niggas do fall, niggas do try to play it like that, but nigga, we find out about it. As soon as you know that niggas discovered you fucking with sissies and you a Muslim, nigga, you better go lock up. You better lock up before we get to you, nigga. And then what we're gonna do is, if you go to protection, all we're gonna do is have a nigga who already on protection. You wanna come out of protection? Stab him. Cause his violation is bigger than your violation. So you stab him and you can come out of protection, come out of regular population.
That's crazy, man.
So my first day in prison, I was already knowing. That's the best way to describe it. I'm already knowing. I'm already been conditioned to this shit. You know what I'm saying? I already knew my own business. You know what I'm saying? I already knew that, get you a knife. Get you a knife off bail. Get you a knife. You know what I'm saying? Get you a lock and drop it in the socket. Because we had belts, we had clothes back then. So you get you a good combination lock with them big joints and put it on the belt and shorten that bitch up and spank bang.
You know, it's a blessing just to make it out of there, man. A lot of people don't even make it out. Like, listen to the stories you saying.
It is.
The average Joe couldn't maintain no shit like that.
Mentally, they would go crazy. It's different now.
Yeah.
But it's still dangerous now. When I was there, you know what I'm saying? When I was in prison, I got to prison in 1992. It was going down, bro. It was going down. Nigga died in that bitch. I seen niggas die. I seen niggas when I was at Jackson, so they got open, it's like a movie, open tears. They got like catwalks, they call them, right? Mm-hmm. I didn't see niggas get threw off the fourth gallery.
Damn.
I didn't see to die, it don't take the fourth gallery to die though. The second gallery you can die depending on how you land, depending on how they toss you over that bitch. Because you land your neck, break your back, whatever. So it didn't take fourth gallery.
That's a rough way to go, man.
Yeah, it is. Nigga, don't stab me to death. Don't throw me over. Stab me. You hear me?
You know what? Let's move forward to a lot of people don't really talk about the Epstein files, man. I wanna know your take on it, man. Why do you think it's so taboo, and why you feel like they put Diddy business out, but they won't put the Epstein business out?
It's Diddy black, and Epstein is he's just one of many. You have Epstein, you have the Harvey Weinsteins of the world, right? In terms of the level, listen, this country, white people, period, are white people were from the origins of their very origins of their creation. White people they invented homosexuality. They invented sexual perversion. They invented bestiality. They invented white people invented all forms of perversion. When you go back and you look at our culture as a people, They say we was swinging from vines and all. You say what you want to say. Listen, we went around naked in Africa, right? You had no stories of the Zulu or the Hutus fucking each other. We didn't do that kind of shit. That shit was introduced to black people by white people. White people are the most perverse motherfuckers on the face of this. They were invented out of perversion. So of course they're gonna do perverse shit. And the more open this society becomes, the more like white people we become, the more sexually perverted we become. Because we ain't doing, when you see black people being perverse like that, all you seeing is black people being like white people. Right? Oh, you think about it. When you think about homosexuality 34 years ago, we know that black people have engaged in that shit. We got that shit from white people. White people introduced us.
Did it start like it with the Greeks back in the day?
Of course, the Greco-Roman Empire. I ain't about to come down with that shit like that. Yeah, the Greco-Roman Empire, they saw what was going on in Africa. They saw the manhood and the camaraderie. They saw the brotherhood. And they confused that shit with homosexuality. Homosexuality was born out of the Greco-Roman Empire. And they took homosexuality and spread it all over the fucking globe, bro. We wasn't into that kind of shit.
Well, what's the biggest secret in the whole Epstein thing? Is it
There is no secret, it's power. The people on those files, the people in those videos and tapes, the people in those files, the Epstein files, they are some of the most powerful people in business and in politics.
Bill Clinton was in damn near every frame.
Bill Clinton. Listen, I met Bill Clinton's black son.
Oh, he do got a black son.
He does have a black son that he had while he was married. You know what I'm saying? Bill Clinton. Power. Listen, uncontained power, right? When you give it to a person who lacks a moral compass, then all you're doing is giving somebody power and influence of money. In many cases, money is influence. All you're doing is setting an unhinged mind on a path of destruction because they already are not guided by any principle, integrity, or morals. Mm-hmm. So when you give a motherfucker who's operating absent or with the lack of principle or moral compass, then all they're gonna do is be more of who they want to be anyway, more of a destructive, dragon ass nigga. Mm. So the Epstein files is because you know who in them, the most powerful people in politics, right? And fuck the politicians, the most powerful people in the world of business and corporate America.
I don't think everybody that's in those pictures are necessarily fucking with kids.
I don't think that either.
Michael Jackson was in there, man. I know people got their own thoughts of Mike.
You're gonna be mad at me.
Was on that. I've never thought
Mike fucked them kids, bro.
No,
Mike fucked them kids, Mafi.
No,
Mike fucked them kids, Mafi.
Why would you say Mike?
Because he didn't have a childhood and he was abused, so he was psychologically fragile to begin with. And then don't forget, once he became a superstar, his father lost control of him. Who was he around? He was in Hollywood around all them freaking geek ass niggas.
That don't mean
them kids ain't his neither, Mafi. Sorry. Them kids.
I don't think those kids are his.
I know you don't think those shit like that.
Those kids are his.
Don't forget, Michael Jackson ain't light skinned in real life.
Right.
Michael Jackson dark as me.
I mean, I'm
nose.
a realist.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think he was.
Mike was fucking with the monkeys and giving kids Jesus juice. No. I knew Mike was guilty when they said, don't fight you, Mike. You ain't fight, nigga. Well, and listen.
I'm going to walk out my own interview.
Hey, listen. You know how I knew Mike did that shit, Mafi? I thought the white man, I don't trust white men. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Right. You hear me? I'm a Farrakhan, Malcolm X. I'm a Sheikh Anti-Diop. I'm a Chancellor Williams. I'm a motherfucking Marcus Garveyite, right type nigga, right? Uh-huh. I knew Mike was guilty when they said he gave them cans of pop, but inside of it, it was really wine and spirits. And he referred to it as Jesus juice. When they said that, I said, that bitch ass nigga did that.
Was that true though? Was they just saying?
Yeah, give him Jesus juice.
HBO special saying a bunch of bullshit.
Hey, Mafi.
And then they recanted that shit.
Hey, when? Where at?
Shit, they recanted that shit. I forgot the white boy's names that was talking bad about my dog Mike.
So we know white America destroy your ass.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm saying, so people give Michael Jackson a pass because of the abuse that he suffered at the hands of his father, and because he really had no childhood. So a lot of shit that Mike do. See, listen, you can't tell a fan of Michael Jackson a motherfucking thing. A fan of Michael Jackson don't want to hear nothing about no Jesus juice, no monkeys,
none of
that shit, right? Because they grew up with him, they idolized him, just like niggas idolize Big Meech.
He was my Superman, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Look up to that nigga.
So listen, this is like Big Meech, bro. Big Meech is a larger than life folklore figure from hood niggas. He made it. So it's certain things about Big Meech. Listen, they not gonna believe it, even if it's true. Even if it's true, they not gonna believe it because they grew up idolizing. We have a worshiping complex in the black community. We worship shit, things, and people.
True. Yeah.
We have a worshiping complex, right? We worship things. We worship people. We put more stake. We assign credibility to people who have made it because so few of us make it.
In the beginning of this interview, he was talking about Rakim. Even the dope boys looked up to him. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Because, you know what I'm saying?
And Rakim he didn't talk about dope.
Right.
But all the dope boys looked up to him because he was a fly nigga.
Fly nigga, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Recently, 50 Cent started go at your boy Jim Jones. You know, Jim Jones got the new podcast, man. Him, Mano, Dave East, and Fabulous. And they just did a song, kind of dissing 50 on Christmas and stuff. What do you think 50 Cent is preparing for these niggas? Because he made a post the other day, like, look, I'm chilling right now, but after the holidays, basically I'm on y'all ass.
Oh, I mean, it's just more the same thing. 50 messy. 50 was abused coming up in New York, bro. Supreme and them was giving the bitch had to kill him. They fucked his bitch. Fucked his bitches. They abused him in every which way possible.
He hate his guts. Huh?
So 50 hate New York, period. New York ain't the one who supported him. He couldn't get a deal. Eminem saved 50 Cent. You know what I'm saying? Eminem saved 50 Cent. He was not going to get signed by anybody of any... And the people who was going to sign him was going to hold him back. They were going to shelf him. Understanding what was going on in the streets of New York, they didn't understand that Supreme shit. They didn't understand that Queensbridge shit. They didn't understand...
was just a businessman.
It was a business decision for him. You know what I'm saying? It was a business decision for him.
One, right?
Of course it was. He gave 50 Cent... he didn't just sign him. He gave 50 Cent leverage. And he gave him access to shit because at that time, Eminem was bigger than the sun.
My favorite rapper, by the way.
I'm sorry for you.
Hey, man, he from where you at, man? You supposed to be representing that. Come on, man.
Hey, listen.
Lyrically, nah.
So, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say this in this way. It's the first time I ever said this about Eminem. Eminem lyrically is one of the greatest MCs of all time, lyrically speaking, right? But from a influential standpoint, what was he talking about? Eminem didn't speak. The hip hop was born out of the ghetto.
He influenced lyricists.
Hip hop was born out of the ghetto,
right?
Out of poverty, out of everything that you saw happening from robbery to drug usage to all the good, bad, and ugly of the ghettos across the country, right?
Right.
That's where hip hop was born. Hip hop was an expression of the black experience coming out of the ghetto. Eminem, even though he's lyrically a champion, the things that he was talking about didn't express, or was not an expression of ghetto life through lyricism.
Did you like him when he started to blow up?
No, I didn't. I never liked him because he don't speak to me. I liked when he started to blow up in the mid 90s, right? When he started to blow up, and I'm listening to Nas, I'm listening to Jay-Z, I'm listening to Biggie.
I guess I'm thinking because you guys are from the same area, you like, yeah, go Detroit.
Hey, no. So Eminem is a great MC, right? I'm saying that for people who would criticize me for saying that he's not because of the record sales, but never confuse record sales with. They call Elvis Presley one of the greatest soul singers of all time because of the level of influence, the impact that he had. But I don't consider him one of the greatest soul singers.
Right.
Eminem is a lyrical champion, but when it comes to stringing words together and making them rhyme, right? Yeah. But Eminem, when it comes to speaking to the black cause, when it comes to speaking to the soul of black people, he's not that. And he was never designed to be that, I understand. But Eminem is an open-handed, Eminem is Elvis Presley in hip hop. White people found hip hop more easily to digest because there was a grand white champion.
And he was actually good.
And he was good.
I agree with everything you said.
It can't just be.
But he was actually
good. He was good. He wasn't no Bubba Sparks now.
Yeah.
He was
Shout
good.
out to Bubba Sparks.
Elvis Presley was good. There were many white soul singers and there was many, right? But they wasn't as good as Elvis. Elvis was gyrating ass nigga.
That was from my hometown. Yeah. Let me ask you this last thing real quick. No, actually, this definitely ain't gonna be the last thing. I just want to know your take on this. Man, what the hell happened with Nicki Minaj the other day? She got up there. What was she doing with the Republicans?
That's an example of frustration She's under a lot of stress and pressure. Her husband's a pedophile, right? Her career ain't going. Cardi B got all them hoes thrown off. Cardi B a motherfucking gangster, most gangster hip hop bitch ever. Cardi B is a motherfucking gangster.
You like Nicki as an artist though?
Who?
Do you like Nicki as an artist?
As an artist, Nicki's probably the greatest female MC of all time.
That's what I think. I just want to know.
Yeah, and she's a writer, so you gotta. She's not a Drake nigga. Cardi B is great. Cardi B is the equivalent of Drake. When it comes to, she's a star, but she's the equivalent to that, right? And so, but there's always been ghostwriters in hip hop, bro.
That's true.
It's always been listen, Run DMC. DMC wrote 99% of that shit.
Oh, that was DMC pen
Yeah.
going off like that?
Herbie Lovebug wrote some of the biggest hits of Salt and Pepper.
Yeah.
They was Big Daddy Kane was writing for everybody in New York. Every hit that Biz Markie had, the Vapors and all that shit, make the music with your mouth biz, that was Big Daddy Kane.
Where you think Nicki started going kind of left field at?
Talking too much. Same thing 21 Savage is guilty of, talking too much, getting involved in this shit. Nicki, sit on your throne. Let these young hoes have that shit. Come down off your lofty perch and fuck with motherfuckers. Stop being so arrogant. Know what I'm saying? Sit in your crown, queen, tilt your crown, and just live your life. You a multi-millionaire. Know what I'm saying? You still trying to be relevant. You still trying to assert your power. Nicki Minaj is an old dope dealer who don't want to relinquish control of the dope game. Bitch, let them young hoes have that shit.
Right, you won. You
won. You got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
You got nothing to prove. Let them hoes have that. You know what I'm saying? You still want to be queen. Your time has, even though you still relevant, but you don't see Lil Wayne getting these young niggas' way.
Yeah, that's true.
Lil Wayne I can't run with these young niggas, bro. Let them have that shit. Let them have that shit.
Another one ain't got nothing else to prove, bro. You done said, rhymed off everything. You got it, bro. We know you that nigga, bro.
Yeah,
you got it.
It's not your time. You know what I'm saying? It's time for you niggas to greener pastures.
All right, so check this out. Why you think? So you know the whole situation with Cardi B and Offset. You know what I'm saying? Technically, they still married, but she went and had the baby with Buddy Stephon Diggs. Me, I'm an old fashioned nigga, man. Why you think women praise Cardi B for having a whole nother kid?
Because we live in the whole culture.
With a nigga she married though.
Because we live in the whole culture, and so listen, the time of motherfuckers utilizing their brain for something other than a hair rack or a hat rack, right? That shit's long gone. Black people, we so fucked up and we so misinformed and miseducated that we've been programmed and trained to look at the worst shit that we do and to put and to give that shit logic and to put logic to the stupidest shit that can possibly happen.
That's right, girl. You better tell them, girl, do it.
Yes, listen. So Cardi B, she said that she left Offset for a couple of reasons. One of them because of infidelity. I kept catching you cheating, kept fucking on these hoes. Blah, 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 blah. She left him and she went to a nigga who's worse than him. Right? Worse than him. And got pregnant by him while he got 4 other bitches pregnant. So you left a nigga because of infidelity and you went to a nigga who dirty dicking all y'all. He fucking all y'all raw. What is you mad about, bitch?
He having the time of his life.
He had time, he fucking all you hoes raw. He got 5 hoes pregnant at the same time. That means he raw dicking all you hoes at the same time. But listen, here's the problem. The problem is, Cardi B is not the problem. The problem is how the consumers of hip hop, particularly black people, how we placed her on the pedestal because of her perceived success. Cardi B is not Maxine Waters. Cardi B ain't Harriet Tubman. Cardi B is not motherfucking. Why are we looking at her and trying to take from her something other than what she is she's an entertainer. She's not a representation of what it means to be a strong black or Latino or Hispanic woman. We're placing Malcolm X and Martin Luther King status on niggas who really just clowns and court gestures. That's our fault for pedestaling these niggas. We didn't put these niggas on pedestals. Why? Because they famous? 40 years ago, we knew that just because you were a successful entertainer or athlete, that don't mean that you represent the culture. That shit has been muddy. Those waters have been muddy. Just because you a monkey, You sing, you get up there, you do your jig, nigga. You a jig, buck, ass nigga. Right? That don't mean that you speak for us as a people.
Right, yeah.
And that's where that shit, we didn't get that shit confused. So we shouldn't be looking at Cardi B for anything other than entertainment. Who said this bitch was...
You know what, man? The whole thing with Kanye, back when Kanye had all those antics and stuff like that, it never, to me on the low, it was kind of funny to me, man, because I'm like, okay,
It was
Kanye's funny.
entertaining.
But my thing where it just was like, bruh, him talking about what he did with his cousin, man, you know, sucking his cousin dick, man, and that was just
You was shocked?
Yes, I was shocked, because I ain't see Kanye like
Question,
that.
were you more shocked about that, or were you more shocked about 21 Savage getting on Twitter and admitting that Atlanta covered up all the rat shit that's been going on with Gunna and QCP for the last 15 years? Which one was more shocking to you? Tell the truth, Mafi.
That was fine. I like that one.
I'm a segue king. Which one was more shocking? Was Kanye's... We knew Kanye was flaming out.
All right, okay, yeah, I get okay.
We knew
In
Kanye
that
was
sense,
flaming
okay,
out.
yes, that's not.
We knew he
shocking.
flamed.
Yeah.
We know Kanye. We know something wrong with you, bro. But we attributed it to him losing his mama and him going crazy, having nervous breakdown. But don't forget, Kanye was up there with Diddy and them.
Yeah.
Kanye saw all that shit. Kanye know what Jay-Z and them was really doing. He was there at the beginning of that Beyonce shit. He know about all the perversion. He seen it.
Why you think Jay-Z staying out the way like that, though?
Because he's smart. Keep your mouth shut. Let niggas assume what they want to assume. You speaking to it or trying to speak for it, trying to justify it, ain't gonna do shit because they don't love you. See, Jay-Z understands one thing. I'm a star. I'm a figure. They don't love me. So anything I say can and will be used against me because they don't love me.
He's handling the best way. That's how you're supposed
Shut
to
the
handle
fuck up, nigga. 21 Savage. Hey, I don't know what the fuck you was doing. Savage. Shut your ass up and let them niggas defend themselves. That's it.
Man, I'm gonna get ready to close this thing, man. This has been.
Oh, you don't want to talk about Atlanta?
You know what? No, you know what's crazy?
You finna close the interview out?
No.
You don't talk about no more. You want the hottest topic in the land.
I'm from Memphis, so you know.
I'm holding you. You said you go ahead. Go
You know
ahead.
what? No.
Don't cut this part out neither. Don't cut this part out.
I like that.
You trying to be slick, nigga?
Nah, I ain't trying to.
You want to talk about? So the hottest.
He good. I like this.
You want to say set the record straight? You see what they say? Set the record straight.
Hey, let's definitely get your take on this though.
Come on with it. Are you slick?
You know they be saying the term "moving the goalposts." You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like this is a great example of that?
Next question. It is. It's definitely an example of moving the goalposts.
Why you feel like that?
Because the seat, Atlanta has been the seat of hip hop. Maybe even black entertainment as a whole. Atlanta has been the seat of hip hop the last 15, 20 years. Strong. So 21 Savage is a part of the second generation, or maybe the third generation of hip hop superstars.
Yeah, he's a younger
guy.
Right?
He's part of the second generation or third generation.
I'll say third.
Third generation, right? Yeah. So at the top of the totem pole, third generation, 21 Savage, superstar. Lil Baby, superstar. Gunna, superstar. Thug, Future.
Yeah. It's a lot of you from my class, yeah.
Gucci Man. Jeezy. Yep. Jeezy, second generation.
Jeezy would be more second
generation, right?
T.I.
Yeah, T.I. and them, right? T.I. But they all still relevant, though.
Right, 100%.
Right? So listen. So, brother, what 21 Savage admitted in those tweets, it wasn't shocking because of what he said. It was shocking because how often do we have people who have been engaged in bullshit admit they bullshit? That would be him admitting that is the same thing. It would be the same thing as Donald Trump admitting that he a racist, admitting it.
Just keeping it real.
Keeping it real. 21 Savage just keeping it real. But how did he keep it real?
Well, it happened to his friends. It happened to his people. So it's like,
watch this. You asked me a question. Hey, Mafi. What 21 Savage admitted was he admitted that they were all hypocrites and liars. He admitted that they knowingly and purposefully covered up Gunna's rat behavior. He said we all knew that he was a rat to begin with, but we covered it up, trying to save face for the city of Atlanta. And he went on to say we covered up QCP publicly. We engaged in a public conspiracy to save face and for the money.
I see 6ix9ine called him out on that too.
People criticize 6ix9ine. Does he have a case? Whether he's a rat or not, he has a point. Because the same thing y'all condemn me for, y'all guilty of it. That's what you call a fucking hypocrite.
That's my boy. Shout out to Danny, man.
That's what you call a motherfucking hypocrite, right? So 21 Savage, what did he admit? He admitted that, hey, this is what he said, Mafi. Listen, this nigga said, hey, Thug and Gunna, y'all need to make up. Paraphrasing. Get over that shit. Let's get back to the money. That would have been cool had Thug had not already said that he's a fucking rat. That would have been cool if Thug would have said, hey, listen, I told Gunna to do that. We both superstars.
I think that's how he should have came out.
He should have.
It'd have made so much more
but
money.
But he was standing on that Thug gangster shit. He was standing on the same shit that led niggas to get out there to begin with. Not thinking, operating out of emotion, not understanding, not being able to read the temperature in the room.
I kind of want to touch on some relationship type of advice for guys out there that might not know a lot of things about relationships. You know what I'm saying? How much do you think a man should give in a relationship? You know, you got your 50-50, 75, you know. What do you think, how much a guy should give going into a relationship?
Well, I mean, just like anything, if you want to have control, then you have to be the controller. And so in the days we live in right now, so listen, bro, this whole 50-50, 100% bill ass shit, I ain't paying 100% damn bitch bill. You hear me? I ain't paying 100% damn bitch bill. Now, that all depends though. Say I'm a ghetto nigga, so I come from nothing. So I was raised in poverty in the ghetto. So the way I was raised, my mom and daddy both, when they were together, they both worked because they understood that moving together, we can get further faster. So I've never looked at, I don't come from no rich background where my daddy had all the money. No. So I come from motherfuckers being unrealistic. The whole thing is, my nigga, if you a street nigga, you paying 100% of a bill for a bitch, when you die, she can go fuck another nigga. Right? And and when you go to prison, she certainly gonna go fuck another nigga. When you take care of a bitch like that, right? And a bitch, you don't teach a bitch how to go out there and hustle, or if she's not a hustler, she's not a worker, she don't have nothing to offer. What's gonna happen when you fall off? I was raised just how I was raised. You get you a bitch as your backbone. So if you ever get fucked up, right? And if you in the street, you gonna get fucked up. You gonna fall off.
Right.
You got you a bitch who can help climb you back up to help get you back together, right? But paying 100% of a bitch bill, if I'm paying 100% of a bitch, what you doing, bitch? You taking your money, you going to what you want? No, bitch, you gonna buy into this household, bitch. You gonna buy into this relationship, bitch. I ain't for take care of that hoe.
What if she come with some kids or something like that?
Oh, you really gonna work, bitch? Take your kid, bitch. You funky bitch. Bitch, you really gonna work, bitch? Because this ain't all me. This ain't all you. And okay, like I'm just taking care of you, bitch. See, listen, in the ghetto, everybody that you know had a stepdaddy, bro. So when they talk about how fucked up black men is, that's really not true. Because everybody where I'm from had a stepdaddy. That means that the stepdaddy stepped in with the mama who already had kids and raised them kids like they was his own. So black men are not really as fucked up as the world try to broadcast us to be. You know what I'm saying? Where you from in Memphis, how many niggas you know had stepdaddies who was good niggas?
A lot of them.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
Where I'm from, most niggas, it's a rare thing to know a motherfucker who grew up with their mom and daddy in the same household.
Yeah, that's me. Still to this day, my folks still together.
It is, that's a rarity.
Right.
That's not normal. You know it's not normal, right? So my whole thing when it comes to the 50-50 and the 100%, it's based on what you can do. But listen, black women, it's not safe for you letting motherfucker pay 100% of your bills. You know why? Because these niggas is not your granddaddy ass niggas. If a nigga paying 100% of your bills, he gonna dog your ass into the motherfucking concrete, bitch. He gonna cheat on you. He gonna fuck you up. He gonna beat your ass, all that kind of shit. Because he know you need him. Now, it's one thing, like, if you don't have the means to take care of yourself, he gonna dog you. I have daughters primarily, bro.
Yeah,
I raise my daughters to take care of yourself, find your own way, and then build yourself up. So then when it's time for you to choose a man, you can choose a man based on being compatible versus choosing a man based on you needing a nigga. If a nigga know you need him, you through, bitch. You through. He gonna dog walk your ass. Because nowadays, these niggas don't equate taking care of a household with taking care of the family. These niggas equate taking care of the household and paying 100% of the bills. They equate that shit with having leverage over a bitch. And they want to use that against a bitch. So it ain't even safe for a bitch to let a nigga pay 100% of your bills unless you just tricking with a nigga. Then that's a whole different thing. But women, black women especially, work to build yourself up. Work to educate yourself. Work to lay your own foundation down so that when it's time for you to choose a man, you choosing a man based on compatibility versus based on needing him to survive.
All right, so let's say you out here dating, man. Shit, it's 2026 now. You know what I'm saying? You out here dating in Atlanta, whatever.
Atlanta,
Not Atlanta.
Let's see, because Atlanta, you know, it's chicks with dicks down here.
Yeah.
It's chick with dick. Atlanta, bitch, I want to see your passport, bitch. Your birth certificate, Adam Apple, bitch, raise up, bitch. I can see you.
Well, let's say
when I'm in Atlanta, I go out and say, raise up, ho. Let me see your dick. Let me see your dick, bitch. Raise up, bitch. Let me hit you right. If I see any strong thing right here, bitch, I'm socking you, bitch. I'm socking you.
What's your deal breaker while you're in a relationship? You get to know a chick, you know what I'm saying? What's just like, you know what, I can't even fuck.
Selfishness. Being selfish. Being selfish and not being selfish. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that.
Yeah.
You turn off, bitch. That's a deal killer.
Yeah.
Bitch, if you selfish, that means you out for yourself. That means what I'm gonna do with you, hoe? I can just pimping. I supposed to be born in the 50s, supposed to be a pimp in the 60s, 70s. No, seriously though. It is being selfish because that means you only out for yourself. So if I'm paying 100% of your bills and I'm taking care of all your needs and wants, and you selfish with your whole thing, what? No, that ain't
gonna work for you.
That ain't gonna work.
So let me go ahead and bring this to a closure, man. It's most definitely been an honor having you here, man. This was a fire interview. Like, I really appreciate you, dog. How do you feel your media future is gonna be in 2026? What do you see yourself in media?
I feel like there is a void when it comes to the so-called influencers, and when I say influencers, I mean the people who get paid or get tapped into for their opinion about all things, whether it be entertainment, sports, politics, just the social dynamic. I believe there's a void between motherfuckers who've actually been there and done that. I believe there's a void right now that's going on in the YouTube streets. I believe that a lot of the people who've had I believe they have misused the privilege and honor that has been bestowed upon them in terms of being effective communicators of the things that black people care about or are influenced by the most. I believe that people like Charleston Whites, right? For prime example. I believe that people like the Whack 100s. I believe they have used their access to media in a way that has been self-aggrandizing, in a way that has been selfish and not proper. And I'm not, and Whack 100s are overall bitch ass nigga, 1,000%, right? But when it comes to Charleston, I believe Charleston had good intentions starting off, but I believe that Charleston got frustrated because of the lack of observation on the part of black people. I believe that Charleston got frustrated when he realized that niggas is just niggas. Niggas would rather hear the negative shit. They would rather hear the crazy, goofy shit. I believe that when he realized that, and he realized that talking that positive shit wasn't gonna get him no check, I believe, and he said it. He said, I'm no longer trying to save you niggas. I'm gonna grab the most controversial issues and talk crazy about you niggas, because you niggas is stupid. I can't save you niggas. Y'all gotta save y'all motherfucking self. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna earn my money and take care of my family, and I'm gonna support the causes that are real to me and that I care about, and I'm gonna use my power. And I'm not saying that Charleston's all bad. I'm definitely not saying that. But I think he's switched his focus. He's less of a hero now, and he's more of a person who understands. See, because being a hero, bro, you don't think Malcolm X get tired? You don't think that? Right. I'm not saying he's a Malcolm X or a Martin Luther King, but it's tiresome work because the people that you're trying to save and educate are the people who are going to come down and go against you more than anybody else.
I think Charleston just touched some money. I think it's just as simple as that. He touched some money, and then his view
combination
changed a little bit.
Combination of all that. You know what I'm saying? So I think when it talks about my future, can't nobody fuck with me. When it come to rapping this motherfucker, when it come to taking, and I've been there and done that. I've been in prison. I've been in the streets. I'm in the entertainment business. I've traveled extensively prior to ever getting in front of a motherfucker. And then when it comes to the world of podcasts and all that kind of shit, I started this shit in Detroit. I'm the first motherfucker to ever do a podcast, a urban podcast, a podcast, period. And see, Detroit, I originated that. I'm a trailblazer. I don't sit back and watch motherfuckers doing copycat that shit. The shit I'm doing right now, it may be new to your audience, may be new to you.
Right.
But it ain't new to me. I've been popping this shit since 2011. So when it comes to my future, bro, can't nobody fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Can't nobody fuck with me because I have all the experiences, and not only do I have the experiences, I know how to effectively communicate my experience, my own personal experience. And I know how to effectively communicate the experiences of people who look like and sound like and been through the same things that I've been through.
Can you give some of the people some of your social media and how they might want to contact you, book you for any podcasts and the shows like that? Go ahead and give them some of your
shit. You want to book me for anything? You better holler at Jeff from Real Life Street Stars. Holler at Mafi. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust you, motherfuckers. So
hit my DM up.
Hit Mafi. Hit Jeff from Real Life Street Stars, Jeff, and hit Mafi. And if you want to book me for anything, there it is, man. I'm coming with that work.
Man, you already know what time it is, man. It's been your boy Mafi. You have been tuned in with the Mafi channel. Thanks again, man. I really appreciate it, man. Dawgface. Make sure y'all holler at me. Boy! Yeah.
Salute.
It takes a distinct individual to possess the desire to defy the law. Such individuals must exhibit audacity, fearlessness regarding consequences, and the traits of calculated risk takers. They may be categorized as mere addicts, yet their addiction is to currency and adrenaline. What do they lust more? Some seek the mountains of dead presidents, while others yearn for the rush of them. These are not stories of glorification, but chronicles of redemption. Articulated in their own voices, these are the extraordinary accounts of individuals who will be eternally enshrined as crime gods.